Hello, miraculous humans. My name is Miracle, and today we are going to rank all 32 of the MCU films. I love Marvel in general, always have, ever since I was a little children. I always loved I always loved Marvel. Not just Marvel, I always loved superheroes. I always loved, I just love like superpowers and occults and all that type of stuff. I was so into that stuff. But especially loved Marvel. And I grew up basically watching almost every single MCU film. Almost. Not every one, but almost every single MCU film. We would make it an event. We would make it a whole event to watch, either watch it in theaters or just have a nice, cozy at home watch of Marvel films. Marvel has always been a very prominent part of my life. So, without further ado, let's get started. Okay, starting off with Ant-Man Quantumania. Okay, before 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 I start ranking them, I have few confessions to make. Okay, some of these films I have not seen. Probably maybe like two or three. Like two or three of these films I have not seen. And another confession I'm going to make is I kind of fell off of the MCU after No Way Home. And here's why. It's so crazy. I was just talking about how Marvel is so prominent in my life, and it is. But here's why. I kind of fell off of the MCU after No Way Home. Is because I feel like No Way Home was the biggest movie, the last big film besides like Endgame for MCU. I feel like No Way Home was that last big film, you know? And then with the new phase, like the movies kind of dwindled. Um well, actually I didn't fall off after No Way Home. I fell off after Multiverse of Madness. Um and then the MCU kind of dwindled for me. I remember I specifically remember that happening to me in the past. Like, I can't remember. I think it was after, mm, I don't know. I can't remember, but there was a time in phase three, I believe, where I was like, I'm so sick of superhero movies, which is so crazy. Like, I'm sick of it. Like, it's so bland, it's so boring, I'm done. And then when they announced Infinity War, I got sucked back in. So that's kind of where I am now, is I'm kind of they're kind of losing me again. I'm hoping that they bring that blockbuster film that's going to suck me back into the MCU. Does that make sense? Am I the only one that feels that way? I feel like I'm kind of mixed about the MCU right now. Especially I also feel like another reason for that is the Disney Plus shows of the MCU. The Disney Plus shows also took a role in that. The Disney Plus shows are not in this ranking today, but if you guys want me to rank the Disney Plus shows, I'll be more than happy to do that. But today we're going to be ranking the film. But I feel like the Disney Plus shows played a huge part in why my interest for the MCU kind of fell off again. Um, so yeah, but let's just get into it. You guys are probably like, shut up and just rank the freaking film. Okay. First off is Ant-Man and Quantumania. I have not seen this yet. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews about it. Um, so like I'm nervous to watch it. I did like the first Ant-Man. Um, I thought that was a really fun film. And I also liked Ant-Man and the Wasp. Actually, let's get into that. Ant-Man. I really liked Ant-Man. I feel like I would put it in 7 to 9 no. mm, Yeah, I'll put it it's like at 7 for me. Like I liked the first Ant-Man. I thought it was funny. I thought it was, very goofy. Like I thought it was good. It really played into the origin of Scott. Um I really liked it. I really liked it. I had a good time. Same thing with Ant-Man and the Wasp. I liked Ant-Man and the Wasp. I know that's an unpopular opinion, especially since Ant-Man and the Wasp came right after, was one of the films that came after Endgame, I believe. Um, but I really liked Ant-Man and the Wasp. I had fun watching it. That might be a very unpopular opinion. Um, but I really loved watching Ant-Man and the Wasp. I thought it was funny. Is it as good as the first one? No. But I really enjoyed myself watching it. I really did. I really liked Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I really liked the first one as well. Um, so yeah, I think they're both sevens for me. I really like both of them. Um, Next is In-Game. Okay, I have another confession to make. I did like In-Game. I did. I did like In-Game. In-Game will be one of the most iconic films in the MCU, but I have a confession to make, and this might be an unpopular opinion, okay? I think I prefer Infinity War more than Endgame. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. Okay? Let me explain why. Let me explain why I prefer Infinity War more than Endgame. With Endgame, for me at least, you know what to expect in Endgame. Like you already knew that everybody was gonna come back. Like you already knew, and also like Endgame starts off on a somber note. Yes, Endgame does have some unexpected moments, like Cap picking up that shield. When Cap picked up that shield, I lost my mind, okay? Like, when Cap picked up the shield, when Scarlet Witch, my baby Wanda, went off on Thanos and he had Thanos scared, shook, panicking, I freaking loved it. Like, there was so many elements in Endgame that were awesome. But here's why I prefer Infinity War more than Endgame. Like I said, Endgame started off on a very somber note, and also you knew what to expect in Endgame. Like you knew what to expect. You knew that everybody was gonna come back. But one thing I did forget, one thing that was unexpected was the death of Tony Stark. I cannot tell you how devastated I was to see the death of Tony Stark. I was shook to my core. I was so, and like, and also like, it's because Tony was the one who started the entire MCU. So to see the person that created the entire MCU leave us, it broke my heart. I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to think it was true. When I left the movie theater after Endgame, I was like, did that just happen? That did not just happen. That's a dream, right? I didn't want to believe it. I did not want to believe it. So there are some really, of course, Endgame is going to go down as one of the most prominent and most iconic films of the MCU, but I prefer Infinity War more than Endgame because you knew what you kind of had an idea what to expect in Endgame. And with Infinity War was so unexpected. You had no idea what was going to happen. You just was on the edge of your seat the entire time. Okay, you were kind of on the edge of your seat for Endgame as well, but I feel like you were clawing at the seat with Infinity War. I remember I was next to my sister in the theater. I was next to my sister in the theater watching Infinity War. And if you know me very well, you know that one of my all-time favorite superheroes is Spider-Man. I was like, Spider-Man, I turned her. I was like, Spider-Man better not get snapped out of existence or I'm gonna be pressed. As soon as he got snapped, I turned to her and I was like, dang it. Like, but there's so many, and also Infinity War had so many funny moments, like why Gamora, and like just it has so many funny elements. Endgame has funny elements as well as Captain America, what and everything. Like there's there's funny elements in both. There's iconic elements in both, but I just feel like I prefer Infinity War more than Endgame. I'm gonna put Infinity War. I'm gonna put Infinity War in 10. I really like Infinity War. I really do. And I'm gonna put Endgame close to Infinity War, like second. It's a tight game. Please don't hate me. I hope you understand. I hope you understand where I'm coming from. I prefer Infinity War more than Endgame. That might be so unpopular, but I hope you understand my reasoning behind it. Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is another one of those movies that did it come before Endgame or after? I think it came before. Yeah. It was uh, Captain Marvel is basically an introduction of Carol Danvers before Endgame. And I was so excited to watch Captain Marvel because I was a huge Captain Marvel fan. When I was a little girl, I played with Captain Marvel all the time in video games. I thought she was so cool. I thought she was awesome. I was a huge Captain Marvel fan. And I was a huge Brie Larson fan. I thought that Brie Larson was an incredible actress. I still think she's an incredible actress. But I feel like this film, Captain Marvel, is very underwhelming. It's very underwhelming. Um, I was so excited to watch it in the theater, and then I came out after watching it, and I was like, it didn't fulfill me like I thought it would. Um, I feel like the introduction to her character could have been so much better. It's the first female-led Marvel film, which I feel like should have gone to Black Widow. We'll get to Black Widow after Captain Marvel, actually. We'll talk about that. I have some opinions about Black Widow, okay? But this was the first female-led Marvel film, and it for it to be the first female-led Marvel film, I expected so much better. I really did. I was left very disappointed with this film. I'm gonna put it in an average. It's not the worst film I ever saw, but it could have been so much better. It could have been monumental. It could have been so much better. This is no hate to Brie Larson because I know that Brie Larson got a lot of hate for playing Miss Marvel or yeah, for playing Captain Marvel. My apologies. She got a lot of hate for playing Captain Marvel, which I don't think she deserved at all. It's just that I feel like the source material that she was given wasn't the best. And I feel like if she was given the right source material, she would have knocked it out the park. Because Brie Larson is an incredible actress. And I feel like the source material for Captain Marvel, if she was given better source material for it, she would have knocked it out the park. But unfortunately, Captain Marvel is underwhelming for me. Wait, before that, Black Widow. Before the first Black, let's go to Black Widow. Um, oh my God. The first thing I have to say about Black Widow is why did it take so long t- to make a Black Widow solo film? Also, why did y'all wait until Black Widow died to make a Black Widow solo film? And also, why did you make Black Widow so underwhelming? I was so disappointed by this film. I expected so much more, and the quote unquote twist of Taskmaster being that person's daughter was the most disappointing twist I have ever seen in a Marvel film. It was so disappointing. I expected so much more. I wanted to know so much more about the Red Room and Black Widow's experience, like turning into an assassin. Like I expected more. We didn't really get. It's supposed to be about Black Widow's backstory. Where's the backstory? We didn't really see that much about her backstory. I wanted to see her as a ballerina. I wanted to see her in the Red Room. I wanted to see all that. And it just like Black Widow was so underwhelming for me. It could have been a spy thriller banger like Winter Soldier. We'll get into Winter Soldier momentarily. But Black Widow was so underwhelming. A- And it's so disappointing because we waited so long for a solo Black Widow film just for it to be as disappointing as it is. But I will say the only good part about Black Widow isn't even Black Widow, which is even sadder. I'm putting Black Widow in average. Not one of my favorites. I'm very disappointed by it. I wish it was better. Next is Black Panther. Wakanda for freaking ever. These are my cousins, my brothers and sisters. Oh my God, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. Black Panther was a thrill from start to finish. I love Black Panther, and it's not just because I'm black. It's not. Black Panther is such a great film. It really is. It's so well done. And like I said, I had a blast the entire time I watched it. And as soon as it ended, I had to clap it up. I was like, this film is so good. It really is. It really is. And every time I watch Black Panther, I'm just as excited and just as hyped as the first time I saw it. Great film. Rest in peace to a real one, Chadwick Boseman. Oh my God. So good. Okay. Next is Thor Ragnarok. Okay. I have some things to say about Thor Ragnarok. This might be very unpopular. So many people love Thor Ragnarok. So many people love it. I wasn't a huge fan. I know. Do not throw the tomatoes, okay? So many people love Thor Ragnarok. I was not the biggest fan of it. I thought it was underwhelming for me. I thought it was underwhelming. It wasn't that funny to me. So many people thought it was funny, thought it was hilarious. I didn't think it was that funny. I didn't think it was that hilarious. I wasn't that like I was so turned off the first like hour of the film. I was turned off. I was like mm, out of it. Like I didn't enjoy it. I might have to rewatch it. I might give it another shot to really understand where people are coming from about this film. I might give it another chance. I'll give it another shot. I'll rewatch the film again to s- to really understand where are coming from about Thor Ragnarok. But for me, it's average for me right now. Oh, this is Spider-Man Homecoming. Spider-Man Homecoming is a very good film. It really is. It first introduced us, well, besides Civil War, it really set in stone Tom Holland as Spider-Man. Of course, I'm sad that, like Andrew Garfield um didn't get a chance, to reprise his role, but actually he did get a chance to reprise his role, and we'll talk about that. Also, if you guys want me to rank all the Spider-Man films, you know I would love to do that because Spider-Man is one of my all-time favorite superheroes. I would have no problem doing that. But Spider-Man Homecoming, uh, I love this film. I had a blast watching this film. I was crying, laughing watching this film. I really like Spider-Man Homecoming. I do. I really liked it. Um, I'm gonna put it in seven. What would I rank it? I feel like I would do an 8.5. I really liked Spider-Man Homecoming. I thought it was really funny. It was really entertaining. I loved it from start to finish. Thought it was a really good film. Okay. Next is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. A lot of people hate on this film. Thought it was funny. Guardians of the Galaxy was a funny film. I really did. I thought it was enjoyable. I watched it in the theater. I was crying, laughing, watching it in the theater. Um, Also, I was emotional at the relationship of of um of Peter and his dad. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of, I'm a fan of Peter Parker. That's the only Peter I'm a fan of. But I'm not the biggest fan of Star Wars for reason we all know why. We all know why. Do I have to explain it? Do I have to explain it? We all know why. But I like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I think I'm gonna put it in 7 through 9. I liked it. I liked Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I feel like it's very underrated. Doctor Strange. I was so excited to watch Doctor Strange because, like I said, I love the mystical stuff. I love the occult, all that stuff. Like like it. And Doctor Strange was a character that I wasn't familiar with, but I wanted to be familiar with because the film looks so interesting and the graphics and everything looks so incredible. But Doctor Strange was another one of those underwhelming films for me. I expected so much more. I'm gonna put it in average. I expected so much more of Doctor Strange. I was very disappointed in it. I wish it was better. Okay, Captain America Civil War. This should have been called Avengers Civil War, to be honest. because it mainly focused on all the Avengers. Captain America and Civil War was such a good film. It really was. It really was. And also, leave down in the comments, were you guys Team Cap or Team Iron Man? I was Team Cap. Which is crazy because at first I was Team Iron Man. Okay, let's talk about it. At first I was Team Iron Man. Okay, the only reason I was Team Iron Man was because of the people on his team. That's just so stupid, so stupid. I was such a naive teenager. The only reason I was on Team Iron Man was because of the people on his team. And then I did my research, okay? Then I did my research as I always do. I'm always on Google. Like I'm always Googling stuff, always researching stuff. I know I'm a nerd. Don't okay. But I was doing my research and I found out so many shady things about Tony when it came to the Civil War and stuff like that. I didn't appreciate it. So I was like, nah, I'm Team Cap." So yeah, leave down in the comments. Are you guys Team Cap or Team Iron Man? Let's talk about it. But with Silver War, I'm gonna put it. This is such a good film. I'm so tempted to put it in 10. I'm gonna put it there. Why not? Why not? What you gonna say about it? Civil War was such an incredible film. It really was. Really love this film. Next is Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I know I was just praising my brothers and sisters a few seconds ago, but Wakanda Forever, for me at least, was mediocre. Oh my God. Do not kill me, please. Do not take away my black card. Do not kill me, okay? The reason why I feel like Wakanda Forever was so underwhelming, obviously, nobody can replace Chadwick, obviously. Um, I really I really did love the tribute to Chadwick in the beginning of the film. But, I felt like the villain was very flawed. I felt like Shuri becoming Black Panther was very flawed. Also, them killing off the mother and stuff like that was so messed up. I'm like, and also I talked about this with my family and stuff like that. I was like, I literally turned to my mom and be like, they better not do what I think they're doing. When I saw that the mom was sick, I was like, they better not do what I think they are doing. And when I found out that she died, I was like, are you serious? And I know like nobody can help their death, but I felt like it was so disrespectful to Chadwick's death. Like you did a whole tribute for Chadwick, and then you had, Angela's character die, which is like I feel like it took away from Chadwick. I know it's supposed to be an element for Shuri to become Black Panther and to become stronger as Black Panther and passing the mantle to Shuri, but I just felt like that was not the right time. I talked about this with my family and everything. I was like, they should have waited to the next movie to kill her off than do this one because, I feel like it was so disrespectful to Chadwick, in my opinion. And just overall, the film was very underwhelming for me. Um, I'm gonna put it in between an average for me. I expected so much more from it. I was left leaving the theater disappointed. Um, Next is the original Avengers. Okay. Also, I have something else I wanted, like a little fun fact for you guys. I have seen every single Avengers movie in theaters. Every single Avengers movie I saw in theaters. The first Avengers, Avengers Age of Ultron, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame. I saw all those in the theater. Every last Avengers movie I have seen in the theater, and I hope I can continue that tradition. But yeah, the first Avengers, oh my God, it feels like yesterday. It really does. Like it's crazy. It's so nuts how much time has passed. I saw this film when I was 14 years old. It's crazy to me how much time has passed. Um, the first Avengers was obviously a great introduction to the team, to these characters. It was a great introduction to it. I really like this film. I'm gonna put it, it's close to 10, but I'm gonna put it in 7 to 9. I really like this first film, and obviously because it's an introduction and the beginning of it all. One of the beginnings of it all, you know? This is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. I like this film. It's a fun film. I do. Like, I like it. Um, I'm gonna put it in 7 to 9 as well. I liked it. I'm shocked that I liked the Guardians of the Galaxy films as much as I did, because when the Guardians of the Galaxy were first announced, I was like, who are these people? Nobody wants to watch this. Turns out I was all sorts of wrong. Like, Guardians of the Galaxy is all sorts of fun and goofiness, but also it has its serious moments. I really like Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2. I hope to see Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Speaking of it, I have not seen it yet. I know I have not seen it yet. I've heard so many good things about it. So it might, like I said, I need something to reel me back into the MCU. This might be the film to do it. I've heard so many good things about it. So I hope it's good. I hope to watch it soon. Um, because I've heard so many great things about it, and I hope it's the thing that reeled me back into the MCU. Okay. Ooh, sorry, y'all. Next up is Captain America and the Winter Soldier. I love this film. I really do. This was a good film. I had fun the entire time. I was hyped up the entire time watching this film. I loved it. I'm so close to putting it at 10. You know what? I'm gonna do it. Cap, you got some good films, child. Right. It is so crazy. I have another confession to make. This is a confessional, okay? When I first saw Cap, I was not a huge fan of Cap. I thought this is the most boringest superhero ever. Like, who is this goody two shoes? I'm like, I shouldn't be talking because I'm a goody two shoes. But then I grew to love Cap, especially after people have told me that I'm a lot like Cap. And that like at first I took it as an insult. I was like, what? Took it as an insult at first when people told me that I was a lot like Cap. But then as I watched more films and got to know Cap more, I took it as a compliment. Like they love Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Obviously, I'm not like obviously I'm not like Cap in his physicality, but like in his morals, in his in his way of thinking. That's how we're similar. Um, but I really like Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Very much. It was, like I said, I had a blast the entire time I was watching it. The action, it was action packed. It was incredible. Really love Captain America and Winter Soldier. Really love it. Next is Thor the Dark World. I feel like Thor the Dark World is one of the most boringest films of the entire MCU. I'm putting it into, I don't even remember what happened in this film. Can y'all tell me what happened in this film? I have no clue. I have no idea what even happened in this film. This film, like, I literally fell asleep halfway through this film. And then I woke up and I was like, what happened? I had no idea. I literally, like, I was literally struggling to keep my eyes open during this film. So bland, so boring, so forgettable. I don't even remember what happened in this dang film. And this is the, I feel like this is the only film that's a through, 0 to 3 out of all of them. I feel like this is the only film out of them. It's so bland, so boring, so forgettable. Obviously, it's so forgettable. I don't remember what happened in it. So, moving on, it's Iron Man 3. I do like Iron Man 3. I don't think it's one of my favorites out of the entire Iron Man trilogy. I feel like it might be my least favorite out of the Iron Man trilogy. May- maybe. Um, but I do still enjoy it. I still do enjoy all of the Iron Man films. Like I said, the MCU wouldn't be the MCU without if it wasn't for Iron Man. So I do like this film. It's not one of my favorites. I'm gonna put it in 4 to 6. Um, it's okay. It's okay. It's not one of my favorite films out of the trilogy and out of the MCU in general. Um, Speaking of the trilogy, let's go like backwards. Iron Man 2. I do like Iron Man 2. And I think and Iron Man 2 introduced us to Black Widow. I was so hyped for Black Widow. Oh my, I think I also saw Iron Man 2 in theaters. And I was so hyped for Black Widow. I was like, oh my God, I love her. But like, I really like Iron Man 2, but what I will say is the villain in Iron Man 2 is very flawed. The villain in Iron Man 3 is also very flawed. Um, I feel like the villain in all three of the films are very flawed. Um, but especially in 2 and 3, the villains in this film are very flawed. But I do like Iron Man 2. I think I'm gonna put it in 4 to 6 as well. Maybe 7 to 9. I feel like I'll put it at the tip of 7. Like I do like Iron Man 2, but I feel like the villains were very flawed. There's a few things in the film that are very flawed. Um, but I do like it. But Iron Man, this was literally the introduction to the MCU. I really like this film. I feel like I have to put it in 10 out of 10. It's literally the introduction of the Marvel Universe. Without this, there wouldn't be no MCU. So, I really like this film. And, like, just Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. was born to be Iron Man. I can't see anybody else playing Iron Man but Robert Downey Jr. I said what I said. Oh wait, I didn't even wait. This is Avengers Age of Ultron, right? I believe so. Yeah, Avengers Age of Ultron. This might be an unpopular opinion, A lot of people don't like Age of Ultron. I do. I really enjoyed Age of Ultron. I think I'm gonna put it in 7 to 9. I really enjoyed Age of Ultron. A lot of people don't like it. I don't know why. And it also introduced my girl Wanda, Scarlet Witch. I loved Scarlet Witch so much. I would defend her to the earth and back. I don't care what y'all say. I love Wanda. I love Scarlet Witch. I loved her ever since I was a little girl. She's another one of those characters I played with a lot on video games and stuff like that. I love Wanda. Anyways, back to the actual film itself. I like Age of Ultron. There were some funny moments, there were some serious moments, like I really like Age of Ultron. I do. I like it. I don't care what y'all say. I like Age of Ultron. Next is the original Captain America. I remember watching the original Captain America um with my entire family. Uh, I would say I don't want to put it in like 46, but I feel like I put it there. It's okay. It's the introduction of Cap. Um, I feel like it is a good film. I do. Like I remember when I rewatched it, I liked it a lot. More than I thought I would. Um, I really like this film. I'm tempted to put it higher. Like I don't think it's a 4 to 6. I feel like it's in between the two. Like it's right in the middle. Um, but it's not as great as these other films. But it's not as bad as, these average films. Does that make sense? Um, yeah. This is just I think this is just the original Thor. I like the original Thor. I think I'm gonna put it alongside 4 to 6. Same reasoning. It's the introduction of Thor. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. There were some elements that could have been better. Also, with rewatching Thor, I really understood Loki. I was like, I understand where Loki is coming from. I really do. I felt bad for him. Like that was literally like not like really understand Loki's villain arc just based off of his caustic family. Like Loki, I understand you, child. I do. I did before, but now I do. I know where you're coming from. I get it. I get it. That doesn't justify your actions, but I understand where you're coming from. I do. I get it now. This is Thor, Love, and Thunder. I have not watched this yet. And from what I've heard about it, it's not that great. Is it worth the watch, guys? Like, I don't know if it is. Like I said, I've heard a lot of bad things about it. Um, so yeah. The Incredible Hulk. This is the Incredible Hulk before Mark Ruffalo became the Incredible Hulk. Um, this is okay. Um, it's not terrible. I do remember watching this film. Um, it's not the worst film I've ever seen. I think it's okay. Um, I do think that this might be another unpopular opinion. I do kind of see him as th- a better Hulk. I kind of wish that they kept him as the Hulk because I feel like he's a little bit better. The Hulk nowadays is just too goofy for me. Um, like I wish we saw more of the rage and just the terror of Hulk. Like now Hulk is just too goofy for me. Like that's not the Hulk for me. Like the Hulk is like smash, smashing things, ranging, like just complete chaos. Like n- nowadays in the MCU, the Thor is just too goofy and not the Thor that I grew up with. Does that make sense? Alright, next is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. This film should have been called Wanda Maximoff in the Multiverse of Madness. Oh my God. Elizabeth Olsen freaking killed it in this film. This film was freaking phenomenal. I feel like this film is very underrated. Very underrated. Um, but the thing that's sad about this film is that Doctor Strange isn't even the star of his own film. Same thing with Black Widow. Doctor Strange isn't even the star of his own film. It's all about Wanda. Wanda just like I said, I love my baby Wanda. I love my baby Wanda. Like Wanda is just she just wants her children. She just wants to be a mother. She's a mother on a mission. She is a mom on a mission. All she wants is her children. And it's just so heartbreaking to see the entire process. It's chilling. Like the entire fight with with why does the name escape me? But you know who I'm talking about with Mr. Fantastic, Professor. When I saw Mr. Fantastic and it was John Krasinski, I was shook. And then I was even more shook as soon as I heard the X-Men theme for Professor X. I flipped the lid. Oh my! But that entire fight with them. The Illuminati, the entire fight with the Illuminati. I'm so happy I remembered the name. The entire fight with the Illuminati was epic, phenomenal. I really like this film. I really do. I feel like this is an underrated film. I really do. I'm gonna put in 7 to 9. I really liked this film. I really did. I really liked it. Also, the cinematography and just the special effects and everything in this film. This film was so good to me. I really liked it. Next is Spider-Man not far from home. Spider-Man No Way Home. This is fan service done right. This film was so good. I watched it in the theater. Watching you had like I'm so sorry for anybody who missed out on watching No Way Home in the theater because it's a magical experience. Like with watching the film in the theater, just hearing all the cheers. When I watched it in the theater, like there were so many people in cosplay, so many people cheering, like and crying. Like this film and just just for being in the movie theater, just experiencing it all gives it a 10 out of 10 for me. I don't care what y'all say. Just experience the magical experience of watching it in a film and just seeing everybody's reaction is what made it for me. It's like just seeing the reactions of other people and the roaring in the theater was amazing. And also just seeing the comeback of Toby and Andrew, like another confession. I knew that Toby and Andrew were going to be in this film. I just had a feeling like I just knew it from the start. I was like, there's no possible way that they're not going to have Toby and Andrew in this film. And Andrew, like Andrew, you know I love you so freaking much. But I knew for a fact that you were in this film, and he was in all those interviews trying to convince me that he wasn't in this film. I'm like, child, I love you to death. I love your pretty, beautiful face, but honey, I know you're lying. I know you're in this film. And I was literally sitting in the theater, legs crossed, waiting for them to arrive. I'm not joking. My legs were literally crossed, my popcorn in my lap, waiting for them to show up. I knew they were in this film. And I have to say that Andrew, oh my God, I always loved Andrew. People hated on him as the Amazing Spider-Man. I was like, y'all better quit. I thought he was so good in The Amazing Spider-Man and The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I thought, like, Andrew in general is a phenomenal actor. Phenomenal actor. I don't understand why he hasn't gotten an Oscar yet. I don't understand it. I'll never understand it. Andrew is a phenomenal actor in general. Um, but seeing him in this film was the redemption that he really needed for his character and just for his pride in general. Is such a good like portrayal. Like I was so blown away by Andrew's performance. I was blown away by all of their performance. It's like also William Defoe. We'll get to him in a minute. I was blown away by Andrew's performance. I was blown away by all the performance, but like Andrew really stood out for me. Just him, like, and in my theater, there was a lot of claps for Toby, but I was shocked by the amount of claps and cheers for Andrew. There were more in my theater at least. There were more claps for Andrew than there were for Toby. There was my theater erupted when Andrew showed up. Like seriously, there were more claps and cheers for Andrew than there was for Toby in my theater at least. I don't know. Like what about you guys' theater? Were there more claps for Toby or for Andrew? In my theater at least, there was an uproar of claps for Andrew. And also there my theater erupted when Andrew caught MJ. Like I was almost out of my seat when Andrew caught MJ. I was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing. This is absolutely amazing." Um, like I would love for Andrew to get the Spider-Man 3 that he so greatly deserves. Um, I just want it to be done with the right writers and directors and producers. I don't want them to screw him over again. Like, No Way Home was really his redemption. And I'm so happy that people finally see how great of a Spider-Man Andrew was. I'm so happy. Like, it took y'all long enough though. Like, it took y'all long enough. I'm just saying. I knew from the jump Andrew was an amazing Spider-Man. Y'all just didn't see it yet. I'm happy that y'all finally opened your eyes and realized that Andrew is a great Spider-Man. I knew from the beginning. I believed in him in the beginning that he was a good Spider-Man. Y'all fake for not seeing it when I did. Sorry, I just had to. Like it just makes me so upset. Like y'all should have saw it when he was in his like anyways. But I'm happy now that people finally see how great Andrew is as a Spider-Man. Obviously, we have to give props to Toby because he's the blueprint of all this, to be honest. Like, and then Tom's performance in this film, emotional, amazing. Zendaya as the love interest, also amazing. Um, And then, like, William, can we talk about William Defoe for a minute? I know I'm going on and on about this movie, and y'all guys are probably like, shut up. But I have to say, this movie is so good. Um, but William Defoe will forever go down as one of the greatest, like, Spider-Man villains. Like as Green Goblin, he does an amazing portrayal of Green Goblin. It is frightening. It is intriguing. It is nail biting. It is incredible. His portrayal of Green Goblin on this film was Oscar worthy. It really was. Like I don't know how he didn't win an Oscar for that. Like his portrayal of Green Goblin on this film was so incredibly good. But this film overall, but some a critique that I will say is that the first half of the film was not the best. I will say that. I will admit that, okay? The first half of the film was mediocre at best, is what I will say. The first half of the film was mediocre. And it still makes me so upset that Peter is supposed to have a very high IQ, and he goes to Doctor Strange to switch back to put his life back and make sure nobody knows that it's Spider-Man, and he doesn't understand the loopholes of that. Also with Far From Home, like we'll get to that. I have some opinions about Far From Home. But yeah, like No Way Home is such a good film. Fan service done right. Next is The Internals. I have not seen this film either. I've heard some mixed reviews about this film as well. Um, and also I'm very skeptical of this film because I don't know that much about The Eternals. Um, I'm gonna have to do my research about The Eternals. Um, like I said, the films that I have not watched, I will be watching eventually, and I will share my opinions on. But for right now, I have not seen it, so I cannot comment on it. Same thing with Shang-Chi. Is it Shang-Chi or Shang-Chi? Please correct me. Um, um, but yeah, I have not seen this film yet. But I have heard that is it is a well-made like martial arts film. Um, so yeah. Speaking of, last but certainly not least, is Spider-Man Far From Home. Okay, I um I have some mixed feelings about Spider-Man Far From Home. I do think that it was a fun film. But it has its cons. And let me tell you why. Um, the whole, I feel like even though I love Pete and MJ's relationship in No Way Home, I feel like in Far From Home, their relationship just came out of a left field. In my opinion, I feel like it just came out of nowhere. Like when in the first start of the film, like Pete's trying to impress MJ and all this stuff, and I'm like, where did this come from? I feel like the progression or like the making of the relationship wasn't very clear. It just happened. Um, which was very weird. Like like I said at the start of the film, it's just like I like MJ. Like it didn't make any sense for me. Like I said, I love the beautiful relationship in No Way Home. I do think it it got better in that film. But in this film, it just felt odd. It felt off to me. I'm like, in Homecoming, you didn't even know MJ really existed, or you didn't really like her. But now in Far From Home, you're obsessed with her and want her to be your girlfriend. It's kind of weird. Um, another thing that irritates me about this film is the whole Edith thing. Can we talk about this? Like I said, Peter You know that I love you with all of my being, and you're supposed to have a very high, high IQ. So why in the mother effing world do you give Edith to a complete stranger who happens to be Mysterio that you have just met? That makes no sense to me. None. Why would this man, who's supposed to be highly intelligent, give this highly expensive, highly technical thing that you got from Tony Stark to this random man that you have just met? You could have gave it to anybody else. You could have gave it to Ned. You could have gave it to Nick Fury, Mr. Samuel L. Jackson. Like you could have gave it to him. Like why would you give Edith to this random man that you just met? It makes no, it flabbergasted me. When I saw this in the film, I'm like, Peter, you cannot be serious right now. Like, seriously. You're giving this high tech to this man that you don't even know. It makes no sense to me. None. None. Absolutely none. Like, that's one of the main things that makes me mad about this film. But some good things that I like about this film, the whole scene when he's preparing to, go after Mysterio and he has his whole spider sense thing, or spidey tingle, as they say, which is so freaking weird. I like spidey sense better. Um, but having the whole like spider sense scene where he just blacks everything out, that was so freaking epic to me. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. But yeah, like this film, it has it. I did enjoy myself when I watched it, I'm not gonna lie. But there are some things that really, really made me upset. Um, it had its pros and it had its cons. I'm gonna put it, mm, I feel like it would be at the tail end of Forest 6. I feel like it would be a 6. Like sometimes I do put this film, I do put Far From Home because it comes on a lot. I do put it on in the background when I'm doing other things. I will admit that. Um, but like, yeah, I feel like it's a 6. It has a lot of flaws and it could have been a lot better. Hey guys, before we wrap up this video, sorry to interrupt. Um, Let me introduce myself. Hi, it is Editing Miracle here. This is my debut appearance. Y'all better get used to me because y'all are gonna be seeing me a lot. Because Miraculous is stupid, so you're gonna be seeing me a lot. But I wanted to come on here real quick and do a few corrections. Since Miraculous recorded this tier list, there have been new developments. And she actually has watched all the films, and I'm going to correct them and make some changes for Miraculous. My job is so brooding. All right, but I'm gonna come in here and make a few corrections. Like I said, that tier list was recorded a long time ago, so obviously there's been new movies and new films that have come out, and obviously she watched them since then. So we're going to talk about that and we're going to re-rank some of the films, okay? Starting off with Thor Ragnarok. Okay. Previously, Miraculous said that she could not get into Thor Ragnarok and she wasn't the biggest fan of Thor Ragnarok. She has since rewatched it and she still feels the same way. Like it's still so what's the point of making me re-rank it? She still feels the same way about this film. She feels like this film is just she doesn't believe the hype. Like she doesn't get the hype behind it and doesn't know why everybody is obsessed with Thor Ragnarok. She feels like she was the only one who wasn't the biggest fan of it. That might ruffle a few feathers because so many people love Thor Ragnarok, but might be her most unpopular opinion. Um, is that she was not the biggest fan of Thor Ragnarok. I don't know. I don't know. You gotta take that up with her. Don't, I'm just the messenger, okay? All right. Next is Shang-Chi or Shang-Chi. Please correct me if I'm saying it incorrectly. But she since has watched this film and really liked it. This was a really fun film. And it was just that iconic martial arts, type film. And it just made her feel nostalgic and just hyped the entire time. Similar to Captain America and the Winter Soldier, but in a different way. In a way different way. But it was still a whole lot of fun. Next is the Eternals. Okay. With the Eternals, it's kind of like in the middle for her. Like it's kind of mixed. Um, One thing she will say is that The Eternals was not one of her favorite films, but it wasn't as bad as people were saying it was. That's what she did say. So we put it to 4 to 6. Like she said it was still enjoyable, but it wasn't the best Marvel film. Was it the worst Marvel film? Absolutely not. Like I said a few minutes ago. She said that it wasn't her favorite Marvel film, but it wasn't the worst Marvel film either. And also, it's not as bad as people were saying it was. All right, next is Thor. I believe this is Thor Love and Thunder. She came to me and said, this is the most disappointing movie. Like, this is where the MCU started to go downhill for Miraculous. Well, it started to go downhill around, like she said, around like after No Way Home and um after that. It's mainly phase five. Phase five has not been the best phase so far. Um it's been a disappointing phase, if I do say so myself. Like I think it's disappointing. Miraculous thinks it's disappointing. I think multiple other people think that phase five has been disappointing as of yet, but it kind of got a little bit and we'll talk about that. But Thor Love and Thunder was not one of those films that got me back into it or Marxist. It would not. Do I put it in 0 to 3 or do I put it to 4? I mm, what is she like? She did not like it. So I'm like, do I put it in 0 to 3 or do I put it to 4 to 6? Mm. I'll put it to 4 to 6. I'll give it a 4. And she'll give it a 4 as well. And like it would not I'm like, you're reintroducing Jane, who we haven't seen in years, and who was in the first film, and like we thought she's going to be, Lady Thor and all this, and I thought it was going to be exciting, but it turns out like they had no chemistry. Thor and Jane had no chemistry whatsoever. The chemistry was so bland. It was like they tried so blatantly hard to be funny. That's another thing about the phase five and the new era of MCU is that they try so hard to be funny nowadays instead of effortlessly being funny. You know, does that make sense? Like they try to knock you over the head. Like, did you laugh? Did you laugh? Did you? You know, like it's annoying. Like, and it also get. And I think another reason for that is because of the y'all know y'all find out both me and Miraculous love Disney. We are obsessed with Disney. We love Disney. Disney, please don't come for us. We love you. I it's just that the integration of Disney really effed up the MCU in my opinion. Like the MCU isn't catered for kids. Even the comic books aren't catered for kids. So what makes you think that the MCU is going to be catered for kids? It's not. The MCU is not meant for children. And I feel like Disney that, you know, incorporating Disney, they're trying so hard to incorporate kids into, you know, watching the MCU when it wasn't meant for kids to begin with. So like it's just it's I just am I don't even know. We were just disappointed. And that's a whole nother topic for another day. But if you guys want us to talk more about that, let us know. But the next film is Ant-Man and Quantumania. Was not a fan of this one either. I can't even tell you the plot of this. That's how much it would it just turned off. Like I was like both me and her were so disappointed. I'm like, we loved Ant-Man and we loved Ant-Man and the Wasp. What happened with Ant-Man Quantumania? I thought it was going to be, you know, I thought it was gonna have like Easter eggs and it was gonna have cameos. That kind of happened with Deadpool and Wolverine, which we'll talk about. But this was just disappointing as well. Like I said, when we were both thinking like this is a bad start for Phase 5. This is a bad start for Phase 5. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. But then it reeled us back in with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was such a good film. It was. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was a perfect ending to the franchise. If it is the ending. But like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was so much fun, but it was also very emotional with the backstory of Rocket. Like, we both cried. Like, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was such an amazing film. And the cherry on top of the sundae was hearing one of my favorite and one of Miraculous's favorite artists, which was Florence and the Machine. Oh my God, Florence and the Machine. I love them so freaking much. But just hearing Dog Days Are Over at the end, Chef's Kiss. And also, if you guys like Dog Days Are Over, go listen to the rest of Florence and the Machine discography right now. They are so freaking talented and so freaking underrated. It's ridiculous. But I digress. But this film was so good. I'm gonna put it in 7 to 9. I might give it like an 8, maybe a 9. Like this film was so much fun, and it was also so heartbreaking, but also heartwarming. Does that make sense? Like this film was a blast. I love this film so much. The next film and like we talk about they're really like the MCU is reeling me back in again and then they've dropped. And the next film that we're going to talk about is The Marvels. I can go on a full-on rant. I can go on a full-on rant about this film. Like I could legit go on a full-on rant about this film. I was so freaking disappointed with this film. I like we were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you, Brie. How could you? I was rooting for her. Like I was like, okay, this is her redemption. She better make it count, okay? Because I wasn't the biggest fan of Captain Marvel. I was not the biggest fan of Captain Marvel, so she better redeem herself with this. And then I saw Monica Rambeau and Miss Marvel, And I was like, okay, I love Monica Rambeau in WandaVision. I wasn't the biggest fan of Miss Marvel, but I, maybe this film would make me change my mind. Spoiler alert, it did it. It did it. This film was the I like it. Just is this film worse than The Dark World? Thor: The Dark World? It might. It's up there. Like this film was such a disappointment, and I feel like this film is one of the shortest MCU films I've seen so far. I could be mistaken, but I feel like this is one of the shortest MCU films we've had so far. Number one, it was short, and number two, it was bland. It seems like the chemistry between all the girls, like just their development of their friendship was so out of place, didn't make any sense. The whole thing with like with Monica sacrificing herself, I would literally like, of course, the one person to sacrifice herself is the black woman. I'm like, of course. Of course, the one person to sacrifice themselves and the one person who has common sense. I, I'm not racist. I promise. I just don't take offense to this, y'all. It's just jokes, okay? It's just jokes. Don't take offense. But still, like, I was so upset by that. I was so utterly upset by that. That like, and and also the even the antagonist, even the villain was so bland and so mediocre. Like it's such a stereotypical villain. I'm like, I did not like this film at all. At all. And also Miss Marvel in this film got on my everlasting nerves. I know like so many people love Miss Marvel, but she got on my last nerves. I couldn't stand her. Alright, the only people that I really liked in this film, and the only thing that made this film better was Miss Marvel's parents. Miss Marvel's parents were the best thing of this film. Other than that, everything else was a mess. It was a total mess. And I remember while we were watching this film, I was thinking, is this a Disney film or is this an MCU film? And the reason I thought that was because of a why can't I ever say that word correctly? Because of specific because of a specific scene in the film where like Carol is like dancing with this guy and you can't I can't even remember. It made no sense. That's how much I couldn't comprehend it. I was like, what is going on? They were just singing and in these princess dresses and like it felt like a scene out of Beauty and the Beast. I'm like, what is it made absolutely no sense. I remember I had my head down, just shaking my head like, what is this? I don't like I wanted at that moment I wanted to get up out of the theater. And that's what makes it even worse. We watched this film in the theater. I'm crying through the pain. We watched this film in the theater, which makes it even worse. I was so tempted to get up and leave the freaking theater. It was that bad. This film is such a freaking disappointment. It's terrible. It's up there like uh, finally Thor: The Dark World has a friend. It has a friend now. It was sitting in that tier lonely. Now it has a friend. Like I don't know if you want this as your friend, but to be honest, like y'all two are meant to be friends. Two disappointing films. I was so disappointed. We were both so disappointed with this film. I can't like no. That's what like I said, and then we're gonna get into Deadpool and Wolverine. The best way that I could describe Phase 5 is it's literally a roller coaster because it's going down, we're yelling timber. It went down with Thor, and then it went back up with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Then it went down with Quantumania, then it went back up, and then it went down again with the Marvels, and then it went back up with Deadpool and Wolverine. Like, it's literally a roller coaster. It is literally a freaking roller coaster with Phase 5. I'm nervous of what they're going to do with Phase 5. Like I said, that's a whole nother topic for another day if you guys want us to talk about that. But like talk about the future of the MCU and talk about Phase 5 as a whole. Right now it's not looking that great, but it did bring us back in with Deadpool and Wolverine. Deadpool and Wolverine was a fun film. Like it had cameos galore. It had like it was hilarious. Had me crying, laugh. Do I? I, I'm gonna put it in 7 to 9. I think it's like an 8.5 to a 9. Like, but it was so much fun, and like I felt like a little kid seeing all the cameos, like of Elektra, of Chris Evans, um Chris Evans' Human Torch when you thought he was gonna be Cap, and a Blade, and like it was and a Lady Deadpool. It was just so much fun. Like, and also I never expected Deadpool to do a film with Wolverine. Like I thought that he was gonna do a film with out of all people in the MCU, I thought he was going to do a film with Spider-Man first before doing a film with Wolverine. But boy, was I pleasantly surprised, and boy, was I happy that they did it because this is a fun film and a hilarious film, and just for the people who and it's kind of a fan service film like Spider-Man No Way Home, but it was a whole lot of fun. It was, and I was, like I said, I was so shocked to see Wolverine again. But like I said, we were so happy. They must have paid Hugh Jackman so much money because I remember Hugh Jackman saying, "I'm never playing Wolverine again." I'm like, I He's like, I'm retired from this character. I've never played it again. I'm never doing this again. Y'all gonna have to give me a huge check in order for me to play with. They must have gave him like a huge, ginormous check for him to play Wolverine again. Like they're milking Hugh Jackman for everything. But I think another reason is because nobody can play Wolverine but him. I feel the same thing about I feel the same thing about Iron Man. Nobody could play Iron Man but Robert Downey Jr. I only see Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. But now Robert Downey Jr. is gonna be the dude. That's a whole nother topic. Like I said, that's a whole nother topic for another day. But yeah, like this was a fun film. And I know there's gonna be more films to rank in the future. We might just do an entire Phase 5 ranking. Um, but yes, for now, this is the full ranking of all of the MCU films. So yeah, I just had to quickly come on here and do that real quick. But yeah, that is the full ranking of the MCU films. So, and also, I just wanted to give my official introduction because y'all are going to be seeing me a lot. So be prepared. But yeah, I will see you guys next time. And back to the last few minutes of the video. But yeah, that concludes my tier ranking for all of the MCU films. Um, if you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure to like this video and make sure to subscribe. Um, and writing prompt of the day, comment down below. What's your favorite MCU film? What's your least favorite MCU film? I hope you guys have a miraculous day, and I'll see you later. Bye.